Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindu's YouTube channel with me, Nistula Hebbar, the political editor of the paper. This is a show where we go behind the headlines of domestic politics to kind of make sense of them. Now, this week we will look at the politics, both said and unsaid, behind Prime Minister Narendra Modi's reframing of the Uniform Civil Code as a secular civil code and foregrounding that issue at a time when his party does not enjoy a majority within the NDA government at the centre. Now, let's start at the beginning. Now, the UCC, along with the construction of a Ram temple in Ayodhya and the abrogation of Article 370 of the Constitution that accorded special status to Jammu and Kashmir, were the three core issues of the BJP and the Sangh Parivar for many years, even before the BJP existed, when it was just the Jan Sangh. In the last 10 years, the BJP, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi and two full majority governments that it had led at the centre, had managed to fulfill two out of the three core issues, which was the construction of a Ram temple in Ayodhya and the abrogation of Article 370. Now, when it came to the UCC, the situation became more complex as it deals with customary laws of marriage, inheritance, and a way of life of a very diverse country. A Law Commission report in 2018, in fact, had ruled out a UCC as being undesirable. The government set up a second a second committee under the Law Commission to look at the UCC again in 2023. That commission is still to submit its report. Meanwhile, within the BJP, a stand was taken, this is before the Lok Sabha elections, in fact, much before the Lok Sabha elections, that states where the party led the government would do a state-specific uniform civil code. Thus, Uttarakhand became the second state in the country with a UCC. This was following Goa, which is the first state to have a UCC in India, and they had a UCC in place even before they joined the Indian Union. So actually, the Uttarakhand example was a complete departure because the Goa one existed before they kind of signed on to the Indian Constitution. Now, states like Assam and Gujarat also declared that they would set up commissions for a state-specific UCC. Now, here they came up against the special needs of tribal communities, which required preservation of their unique way of life. The Indian Constitution also, under the 5th and 6th schedule, looks at preserving the unique societal attributes of tribal communities, and therefore this issue really came up, and the RSS as well as the BJP leadership felt that there should be an exceptionalism even within the BJP's own conception of a uniform civil code, that it will be uniform for everybody except the tribals. So you have the Uttarakhand Civil UCC, which has made this exception, and Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has also declared that in his state, when he brings in a UCC, tribals will not be under its purview. Now, this was in fact backed up by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Law and Justice, which also went into the UCC. They also, under a late BJP leader, Sushil Kumar Modi, said that this should not happen. Tribals should be out of the purview of the UCC. Now, minority communities which have rights to customary law have always seen the demand of a UCC on behalf of the BJP as the BJP's way of interfering into the communitarian life of these communities and impinging on their rights. While the BJP has maintained that just as the Hindu Code Bill and laws governing the majority Hindu community have seen the introduction of gender progressive ways of marriage, monogamy, inheritance, etc., minority community women also should have the benefit of that with regard to Indian law. Now, on 15th August 2024, therefore, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Independence Day address has brought the UCC to the foreground once again. Here, Therefore, he has reframed the UCC as a secular civil code harking to constitutional values enshrined in the directive principles of state policy, which said that all efforts should be made to implement a UCC across the country. Now, framing of the UCC as a way of according gender justice and other ways in which equality before the law is established is being seen as Prime Minister Narendra Modi's way of telling the opposition that minority rights in this case step all over equal rights given to women under the Constitution. The choice between the opposition's version of secularism and feminism was laid bare in the way that Prime Minister Modi posited the question. Now, the other way in which Prime Minister Modi raising the issue of a UCC is significant is the fact that he is now the head of a coalition government propped up by the support of the Janata Dal United and the Telugu Desam Party. Now, this coalition government, and as you have seen in the last episode of Talking Politics that I did, which was on the Waqf Amendment Bill. Now, this was very, very clear that the coalition was definitely working, because where pressure from the allies made the government refer the Waqf Amendment Bill that adjudicates on properties owned by Muslims to a joint parliamentary committee. Now, both the JDU and the TDP do have minority support of some sort and have been anxious that their support to an NDA government will not be seen as an adoption of all of BJP's ideological aims. So both the allies appeared wary after Prime Minister Modi's speech on Thursday. JDU working president Sanjay Jha told me in a story that has appeared in The Hindu that his party would only react once a concrete proposal was on the table. TDP's Chandrababu Naidu had already declared in July itself that he would not be party to any move that sought to dilute the rights of Muslims. Now, with this reaction, it appears clear that PM Modi's speech serves two purposes. One, to tell allies that the Waqf Amendment Bill going to a JPC should not be seen as a sign of things to come, of BJP walking back on major issues under pressure from allies. And secondly, a message to his own party's cadre that despite leading a coalition government, he was still holding the line on ideological issues close to the BJP. As I said before, the nature of this coalition is to be revealed by and by, with battles won and lost. Prime Minister Modi reviving the call for a UCC is therefore yet another way for him to throw down the gauntlet, challenging both the opposition and his own allies to test his spirit. We will return to the story again, I am sure. But for this week, this is all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching.